You're watching Football Daily, and here are this week's biggest transfer rumours and headlines. The window may be closed, but January is closer than you think, and Europe's top clubs already have their eyes on the winter window for potential reinforcements. So if you've heard anything yourself, get it in the comments below to join the discussion. Let's go. We begin this week's episode at Arsenal, where Mesut Ozil's career looks as good as over. The German playmaker has been left out of the Gunners' 25-man Premier League squad, meaning he won't be able to play for the club until February at the very earliest. That would mark nearly a year since his last appearance for the side, which came back in March before the Premier League suspension, and you'd have to go back to June for the last time he even made the bench. Socrates has also been left out, and manager Mikel Arteta confirmed he had spoken with both players face-to-face about the decision, with the pair falling victim to rules which stipulate clubs can't have more than 17 non-homegrown players over the age of 21 in their squad. And with them both also ruled out of featuring in the Europa League group stage, their futures at the Emirates don't look very bright. Ozil is of course Arsenal's highest paid player on an estimated £350,000 a week, but with his contract up in the summer, the World Cup winner's 7-year stay in North London is drawing to a close. And last week the Mirror reported that he had received offers from clubs in Saudi Arabia, where he would no doubt receive a very decent pay packet. It's the story that never goes away, and while we're bound to see a ton more speculation in the coming months, the latest talk about Kylian Mbappe's situation at PSG doesn't bode well for fans of the French champions. As we know, the 21-year-old's contract at the Parc des Princes runs out in 2022, meaning that without an extension he could force the club to sell him for a cut price in next summer's window. And a report this week from French publication Le Parisien suggests that the former Monaco man is reluctant to sign a new deal, as Barcelona, Juventus, Real Madrid and Liverpool weigh up moves for the world's most coveted talent. Of those four, Madrid and Liverpool look like the favourites to sign him, with Mbappe heaping praise on Jurgen Klopp's project at Anfield in interviews, as well as exchanging compliments with Los Blancos boss Zinedine Zidane, who is clearly very keen for him to come to the Bernabeu. But while the allure of playing for the Premier League and La Liga giants is no doubt huge, PSG still have time to bring Mbappe round, and having missed out narrowly on the Champions League this summer, the Frenchman may feel he has unfinished business in his home city. And even if he's willing to run his contract down, his price tag next summer is still estimated to be around €200 million, with reports last week even suggesting that Juve were considering offering €390 million plus Cristiano Ronaldo to force PSG's hand. Meanwhile, Mbappe's teammate Neymar, whose contract is also up in 2 summers' time, could be open to staying at the Parc des Princes, with Le Parisien also reporting on his situation. The club are yet to open talks with him over a new deal, but apparently the Brazilian star now sees his long-term future as being in Ligue 1. But who do you think is more likely to leave the French giants? Let us know in the comments. Before we move on to our headline story, just a quick reminder to subscribe to Football Daily and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. If you're unsubscribed, what are you doing? Join the club and watch videos like this every single day. What a great prospect. Anyway, let's move on. The biggest story from the Premier League this weekend was of course Virgil van Dijk's ACL injury, which could keep him out for the rest of the season, and talk has quickly shifted to how this affects Liverpool's attempts to retain the title and what they need to do to fill the void left by the Dutchman in defence. The Reds' back line now looks pretty thin, with Joe Gomez, the injury-prone Joel Matip and 18-year-old Sepp van den Berg Klopp's only specialist centre-halves. Fabinho can of course deputise there too, but it's far from an ideal situation, and the general feeling is that the club will need to dip into the transfer market this winter. And the name which has cropped up this week is RB Leipzig's Dayot Upamecano. The French defender was strongly linked with moves to Man United and Arsenal in the summer, but Liverpool were also reportedly interested in the 21-year-old. And now Jamie Carragher is calling for the club to get a deal done for the highly rated youngster in January, reasoning that he would have been a target for Klopp next summer anyway. Upamecano's €42 million release clause only comes into effect after the end of the season, meaning the Reds would potentially have to cough up a lot more to secure his services in the winter window. But with the club aiming for Premier League and Champions League success this term, especially as they brought in no replacement for Dejan Lovren in the summer, and with the club looking more vulnerable defensively even before Van Dijk's injury. Ben White was also looked at during the summer, but they were reportedly reportedly unwilling to meet Brighton's hefty valuation of the 23-year-old, and according to the Mirror, are concerned about his lack of ability in the air compared with Van Dijk. Meanwhile, Kalidou Koulibaly's name has also come up. Surprise, surprise. But he would no doubt cost more than any of Liverpool's targets, with Napoli holding firm in their €80 million valuation, which would no doubt rise with the premium that comes with January transfers. Whoever they go for, stepping into the Dutchman's shoes is one of the toughest jobs in football right now. Now to rivals Man United, who struggled to shift their defensive deadwood in the summer, with Phil Jones, Marcus Rocco and Sergio Romero all remaining at Old Trafford. All three were recently axed from the club's Champions League squad, and as a result, Jones is apparently keen to leave as soon as possible, according to reports in the English press. The defender has made over 200 appearances for the Red Devils since arriving from Blackburn as a teenager back in 2011, but has also been plagued by injury throughout his time in Manchester, not playing a match since January. However, his latest contract, signed last year, doesn't expire until 2023, meaning United are still holding out for around £20 million for his signature. So while Jones may be eyeing up the January window for a possible escape, it seems unlikely that any potential suitors will meet the 28-year-old's valuation, let alone his estimated £100,000 a week wages, and even then his options look limited at best. Fulham, who looked most interested in landing him in the summer, ended up signing 3 centre-backs before the window shut, making a winter move for him unlikely. It looks like this could be a long old season for Mr. Jones. Towards the end of the summer, Barcelona's interest in Lautaro Martinez began to cool off, with the Catalan club focusing their efforts on pursuing the much cheaper Memphis Depay from Lyon. And now it looks like the Argentinian's dream of linking up with Messi at the Camp Nou could be over for good, with Calcio Mercato reporting that Inter Milan are expecting their prized asset to sign a new contract at the San Siro. According to the Italian outlet, he will earn €7 million a year on his new deal, which is some way off the €10 million he was reportedly being offered by Barca, but would make him one of the club's highest paid players. Furthermore, they are also keen to scrap his €110 million release clause, putting the club in a more advantageous position if one of Europe's super rich elite come calling. This is a clear sign of Inter's long-term ambition to rank among the continent's top clubs again. But what does this mean for Barca? With the Luis Suarez replacement still needed, reports suggest they are keen on a move for AZ Alkmaar teenager Myron Boadu, and are apparently ready to offload Ousmane Dembele and Martin Braithwaite in order to facilitate the transfer. But as we saw in the summer, that's easier said than done. We finish off this week's episode in Italy, where it looks like Maurizio Sarri could be back in work soon. According to multiple reports, Fiorentina have been monitoring the former Juventus boss's situation, with the 61-year-old still on gardening leave after being sacked by the Serie A champions in the summer. Sarri is still seeing out his contract with Juve, which runs until 2022 and is worth around €20 million, but the club are reportedly offering him €6 million to terminate it. If he accepts, Fiorentina are expected to offer him a deal which compensates for the losses he would face. La Viola have endured a tough start to the season, winning just one of their opening 4 league fixtures, and manager Giuseppe Iacchini is facing increased pressure in the dugout, with Luciano Spalletti, who's been out of work since leaving Inter Milan in May 2019, also linked with his job. Club president Rocco Commisso is apparently reluctant to sack Iacchini, but if results continue to disappoint, he may be forced to reassess his options. A historic club with genuine underdog status, Fiorentina and Sarri could be the perfect match. So that's all we have time for on this week's Transfer Talk. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave it a like and of course subscribe to Football Daily. If you're sticking around, click on screen right now for another FD banger, and we'll see you next time.